in a way that's meaningful to software people.
Hello, I'm Bill Gates.
I would recommend TypeScript. Yeah, it writes a lot of code for me, and usually it's slightly wrong.
I'm reminded, incidentally, of Rust here.
Rust.
This almost makes me happy that I didn't become a supermodel.
Cooper and Netties.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today about large neural networks. It's really an honor to be here.
Rust.
DataTopics. Welcome to the
DataTopics podcast.
Hello and welcome to DataTopics Unplugged, your casual corner of the web where we discuss what's new in data every week. From football to apples, anything goes. We are live streaming on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, Twitch, name it, we're there. Check us out. Feel free to join us and leave a comment. Today is the 20th of June of 2024. I'll be hosting you today. My name is Murillo and joined by the man, the ambassador of MLflow, Vitale.
Hello.
Hello. And we're joined also by the top scorer of DataFoots. And when he's not scoring goals, he's engineering data.
Correct.
At Databricks. David, welcome.
Thank you.
Maybe Vitale, if you've been, actually, I think first notable mention here is that...
Where is
I know, Bart's not here. You can see I'm seated at his chair. See, he looked away for 1 minute. I took over. That's what we do. Brazilians. Bart cannot be here, unfortunately. I'm sure that he's following the live stream. He must. Sure, he must. Yeah. So shout out to Bart. Feel free to leave a comment here, Bart, so you can be with us here. I'll be waiting on that. Apparently, hold on. There is an issue. Let's see. Let's try this. Hello. All right. Apparently, there's an issue with the live stream. I'm trying to see if we have audio back. This is also because Bart is not here today.
Yeah.
Therefore, the setup is a bit different.
I was saying you are already doing better than Bart.
No, you're
not.
I think you were a bit too quick. But let's see if we can get these issues fixed. But in the meanwhile, the podcast is recording. So worst case, we'll just re-upload the video later. Vitale, you've been here before. You're a friend of the show already.
Super fan of the show.
You still decided to come back, surprisingly. Do you want to tell people about yourself? People that haven't heard the first one, haven't followed the first one? Any life updates?
For everybody that didn't follow the first, two times, right? This is my third time here at the podcast.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm Vitale. Nice to meet you, everyone. I'm a machine learning engineer. Currently a tech lead for the AI business unit together with Murillo at Dataroots. And I'm a big football supporter. So tonight, let's hope that Italy will win against Spain.
You're wearing your colors, I see.
Yes.
Thanks. And David, what about yourself? People that haven't heard about you yet.
Yes, this is my first time here, so very nice to meet you. I'm David, data and cloud engineer at Databricks, and I'm a supporter of Belgium, so let's hope...
Where is your t-shirt?
Yeah, I didn't know that we were going to be...
We ganged up on him. But you said now supporter of Belgium.
I am a supporter.
Okay, I thought you said now I'm a supporter of Belgium, but I was going to ask, what were you a supporter before?
No, I was a supporter of Belgium. I was going to say, let's hope they do better. Let's hope Italy does better than Belgium did.
Yeah, that was painful. Huh? I was talking to some Belgian people. They're like, I won't even watch the first match. I'll just start watching after the second because the first one's going to be easy peasy.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that. So,
too cocky, I guess. I think we all tell this. So.
Maybe they did it on purpose to keep the attention
Exactly. But yeah, so as you mentioned, we are wearing the shirts. I'm wearing the Brazil shirt as well. For anyone following the live stream, you can see me there. Vitale is wearing your shirt. David, you're not wearing. You also mentioned the first match, right? Why are we bringing this up? What's this about? What's happening right now? Why are we so patriotic all of a sudden?
A lot of big tournaments.
A lot of big tournaments.
Right?
True. Namely, the Euro just started, right?
Yeah.
Euro is the European tournament, right? Once every 4 years. Copa America, the one Brazil participates in, is also happening right now. And there's always a lot of anticipation, I feel, right? Who's going to win, this and that. I think football is also a nice sport because it's rather unpredictable. But of course, us being data people, trying to make predictions, trying to fit models, we also... it's natural that every time a big tournament comes, you always see these predictions, right? And I think, David, you shared this one, right? This came across our radar. Yeah. It says it has so like for people not following the live stream, it has a Snowflake t-shirt guy playing football, I guess, a football player, and it says predicting Euro 2024 with Snowflake ML. What is this about, David?
This is someone who made an article about the Euro Championship, where they predicted the outcome of the whole tournament, basically. And it has to mention the author is British, so has to be taken with a grain of salt, I guess. But they took some relevant data from Kaggle from like all the international games from somewhere in the 60s, I guess it was. Mm-hmm. And then they just ran some machine learning models that they trained on Snowflake to then like predict the outcome of the tournament. The outcome, I think it was often France, England, or Portugal, which are also like the biggest ones to win, apparently.
No Spain.
No, I mean in the predictions, I guess Spain is one of the top to win it. Mm-hmm. But here he didn't get it. Apparently, he said England will win, but yeah, of course.
Who do you think is going to win, aside from all the data and stuff?
I'm still going to believe that Belgium is going to be up there, for sure.
You truly believe that?
Yeah, of course.
Well, how much money would you put on it? Like, that's everyone can say it, right? Like,
of course, I hope it. Of course, I think we can still progress pretty far in the tournament. But if I really would put money on a team, I think it would be England. I think they have by far one of the best squads out there. A lot of people.
Okay. You think England will?
If I would have put money on someone, it would be England. Yeah.
Wow. Not patriotic at all, huh? Just betraying your country right there.
Yeah, I'm still gonna support them, but if you really have to put something on it.
Okay. And what about you, Vitale? What do you think?
So.
Oof. Vitale starts like that. Okay.
No, well, of course, I will support Italy till the end. 4 years ago, actually, we are trying to defend the title of European champions.
That's true, huh?
Won it?
I almost forget because like you won last Euro, but then you didn't make it to the World Cup for some reason. It was super awkward. It was like I even forgot. I feel like I haven't seen Italy so long because they won.
But when it's about Europe, we switch our mentality. And
I see.
I saw a meme last day, like Italy in Europe and Italy for the World Cup. In Europe was a picture of Leonardo DiCaprio when he was at the top. And the World Cup was, nowadays. But I think France is going to win. France.
So Mbappe broke his nose.
That's true, but they still have a very, very, very strong team.
That's true.
That is true. So here, like in this prediction, so maybe to dive in a bit in this article, I think they are using Snowflake and Snowflake ML, right? Yeah. For the compute needs, let's say. Mm-hmm. So maybe for the people that don't know what Snowflake is, anyone wants to give a quick intro?
it's a data warehouse comparable to Databricks. Store your data, use their compute to process it.
Scalable, serverless, no need to manage anything, right? Indeed. But Snowflake also, over time, they've been taking steps to I think in the beginning it was really like just a data warehouse. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like they're taking more steps and really looking more like Databricks, right? They have notebooks, or actually they will have notebooks soon. Mm-hmm. They have Snowpark ML, which rhymes a lot with Spark ML. Right? For no reason, I'm just saying that. They also have a model registry there, so it's also, I skimmed through it. I haven't looked as much into it, but it seems also nice how they're using the Snowflake platform, right, to really compute the stuff and all these things there, right? And you said that so you see also the code here, like actually using the Snowpark ML code, which turns out it looks a lot like Spark as well. Wow. Surprisingly. But yeah, really cool. Do you know exactly, did you get into how they actually computed?
I skimmed also a bit through it. I think one thing was, what I find was pretty impressive was that he was at first using only like really the ML models and not the ones you get by default already on Snowflake, like the Cortex functions you have. So he really trained the models themselves. But I think it's somewhere that it only took a minute and a half to train like 1,000 models or something.
Oh, really?
So,
and then like in training models, he's always using this Snowpark ML thing.
Yeah, I think it's all in Snowpark ML.
And the Cortex thing, they're like pre-trained models, or?
I think so, yeah. You just like have these functions to autocomplete some stuff, like a bit. If you send like a message to ChatGPT, let's say, and then you get like some kind of response. So yeah, these are pre-trained. You don't have to do anything. It's like a plug and play model. But yeah, of course, maybe for these you need more custom solutions, I guess.
Yeah, indeed.
And I have a question, David. What if, for example, instead of Snowpark ML is the name of the library, right?
Snowpark ML, yes.
I would like to use, for example, TensorFlow or PyTorch or any other, let's say, framework. Is it already compatible? Can I do this in Snowflake?
That I'm really not that sure of. I do think you can import these libraries into their Snowpark environment and use them there. As far as I know, I think.
Maybe I'm not sure. I mean, I know that the main challenge, I guess, in terms of putting this in practice is that TensorFlow is not set up for distributed computing, right? And I think Spark ML is. I would imagine that Snowpark ML also is. So I'm not sure actually. But like, do you know how Spark ML plays with TensorFlow and whatnot?
Well, yes. Like in Databricks, you can use any of the major frameworks.
Yeah.
Of course, if you want to scale to multiple nodes, Spark ML is the easiest way to do that. Because it's basically Spark with some additional models and features in order to perform model training and inference on a cluster of nodes. But sometimes when you really want to, for example, fine-tune a model or, I don't know, perform transfer learning from a pre-trained TensorFlow model, you can simply spin up a single node cluster in Databricks. And use the normal Python library, for example, and you can pip install it directly in your notebook and use it for let's say your model training.
I think for me too, I have tried years ago the Snowpark ML. No, not Snowpark ML, sorry, just the Snowpark Python. So Snowpark, actually they have it in Java, Scala, they have some, I think JavaScript UDFs and stuff. So when they announced the Python stuff, I actually gave it a try. And I remember it wasn't very smooth, actually. I think, so actually back, they didn't have notebook environments, but it was more like you can create a Python transformation step from your SQL code and in your SQL steps or something like that. And I remember I had a bit of a hard time with the different dependencies and environments, right? Like I remember I wanted to install something from pip, but then they only had stuff from conda, and then locally I was using pip, but then on the conda, the package had different names, and then sometimes there was an issue to do this, and I wasn't sure what was running on like that, the laptop, and what was running there, or how you set up the dependencies on the thing. I didn't know if they were distributing. So I remember it was a bit clunky then. I know it's a bit challenging, but I know that they spent a lot of effort in this direction. So,
but they didn't check properly the combinations of the teams there.
What do you mean?
Because, for example, there Belgium is playing against Croatia.
Yeah.
Italy is still there, and also Spain, and the three of them are in the same group.
But there can three countries can progress on the same bracket. Huh?
The best of all the groups, right?
Yeah, so like 4 out of the 6 best thirds can still progress.
And how likely is that Croatia,
To be fair, but I think
Spain and Italy will...
Maybe another big question here, huh? Here they have Italy, Belgium, and they have Belgium beating Italy. Huh?
What?
Yeah, that's what the data says, huh? That's the data. That's not me.
Okay.
can't argue with it.
You want your revenge after... Okay.
Well, this is not the only prediction, right? There's also this one here. This is from the KU Leuven, actually, the university here. DTAI, that's it's a department there. So they also kind of did a simulation who was going to win. Actually, this has some really nice animations. Again, I didn't look at as much into it as I would like. So I think this is for each group. So they do a simulation for each group. And then after that, they actually go through the knockout phase, and then they kind of have, and again, the simulation, they have France winning. So
Seems very impressive.
Yeah, right. They actually have here the different paths. They don't have Belgium and Italy, unfortunately. Actually, where is Italy? Is this Italy here?
Right.
Yeah, we will lose against England.
Yeah, does that make you feel better, or?
It can happen, but
so yeah,
impressive visualizations.
Yeah, the visualizations are really cool. Huh? They're really cool. Look at this. Whoa. So we'll link it all on the show notes for people that are curious and wants to play around.
But this is from KU Leuven.
This is a KU Leuven Data AI Sports Analytics Lab here. It's about us, KU Leuven.
Probably one of our colleagues, Jonas, was.
Yeah, I think he.
Yeah.
So if you go here on the blog post, they also talk a bit about, so again, I skimmed through it. I wish I had more time to have read it more carefully, but I do know that they take into different, so this is a bit the story, right? So there is more visualizations on the previous image that I was showing, and here it's more about the explanation behind. And here on the predictions, they actually take into account the ELO rating. So the ELO is like, I hear a lot in the context of chess, right? So you have these matches that one person needs to win, and then the idea is that if I beat someone that is above my ranking, I get a lot of points and the person loses more. But if you're above the ranking than me and you beat me, you don't gain as many points because it's expected that you beat me, right? So they also take this into account on the latest matches. They also look into the individual offensive and defensive ratings, the cumulative market value from the starting 11 from each country based on transfer market. So they have like different stats here. And then I think they combine this. I actually need to check using 3 ratings to correlate one another. Yeah, some exceptions. And given the ratings of 2 teams, when we use order logistic regression model to estimate the distribution win-loss draws between the outcomes of the 2 teams.
Impressive.
So it's a bit more statistical, I feel. Right, I think they stick more to the facts. So I guess we'll have to see. Huh? So we have France. Actually, you said France as well.
I said France,
and you said England, right? Yeah. Okay.
And what did
Brazil's gonna win?
What did the guy from Snowflake said at the end?
He said
there were 3
England.
coming at the.
England.
Yeah, because he read it like multiple times
until he got England winning. I think this is the one.
But we are basically saying people from KU Leuven.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's true. Shout out to KU Leuven. But that's not the only way to make predictions, right? So you also brought this one up.
Arguably the best way.
Yeah, Orangutan predicts Scotland versus Germany results at Euro 2024. What is this about? This one, I must admit, I haven't read it yet.
So it's like it was a zoo, I think, in Dortmund, and they put like this box for Germany and Scotland, like the scarves for the teams, and to be honest, the orangutan just like took the German scarf and the other one put a bit away. So they say, okay, Germany's gonna win.
That's it.
The weird thing is, this always happens at these big tournaments, that some kind of animal is predicted.
Yeah, right. And it's never like really, it's always a bit okay.
But I think they said that he was gonna do some more predictions. So,
not really.
Yeah, I think it's.
I guess we'll see. I think which World Cup was it that there was an octopus?
Yeah, 2010.
2010.
Yeah,
it was.
They predicted that Spain was gonna win against the Netherlands.
And what was the name of the octopus?
I don't know.
Paul?
It was Paul, I think, right?
Paul, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but I think I was back in Brazil because octopus Portuguese is polvo. And then if you say o povo pol, it's really cool. I think I really just remember that.
In Italy, it was the same. We say il polpo pol.
El polpo pol. See? How is it in Netherlands?
Paul the octopus.
Well, yeah.
Not cool.
The mood just went down. Everyone's happy, laughing. Okay. And so he just predicted the one match, I guess, this orangutan.
Yeah, apparently. But I said he was going to do some more, but...
he's going to work. You need to earn your stay here at the zoo.
But apparently he did do some other predictions, not only World Cup, but like, I think it was something... Champions League matches that he predicted as well. So he has like a track record.
Okay. And he, like, track record, was it a good track record? Or?
I didn't remember if it was correct or not.
So he's studying all the,
he's
all
like,
the books, all the numbers.
When the zoo's closed, he's like watching the matches, taking notes,
But maybe there was another orangutan who predicted the Scottish win, so maybe we would see that one. So.
That's true. Maybe they just have like enough animals predicting enough results, and then if whatever wins, they just choose that. That's true. Isn't there like a XKCD comic about that? Like, even if you look at probabilities and you have enough like sample groups, and you're bound to find one correlation, something like that. Maybe I should read into it more before I bring it up. But anyways, something like that. But more into sports and technology. I have here VAR, semi-automated offsides, and connected ball technology. What will be used at Euro 2024? What is this about, Vitale?
Yes. So we were watching the last game of Belgium. And actually they scored 2 goals that were, cancelled by the technology. VAR, and it was for the first time that we saw a strange, let's say, plot during a replay match.
Yeah.
And apparently this represents a sensor inside the ball that is able to capture all the touches that a player basically can perform on the ball itself.
Yeah.
So we are using more and more technology to make the game a bit more fair. But I'm wondering if it's not too much. Because, let's say, even pro athletes are humans after all, right? So if they need to take into account all these tiny details that you can measure with technology, with advanced technology, how can they, let's say, perform? Because, for example, I will make a practical example. Let's say me and David, we are running.
Yeah.
He's defending. I'm the striker. I need to be careful that to take the advantage of my speed, I need to start running at a specific moment in time where I'm not too further the line of the offside, because otherwise the VAR will identify it with a very, let's say, millimetric precision. So how can you think to all these kind of things while you are playing football? Also people...
But you mean like as a player or as a referee?
As a player, like, even if you are running, right? And you need to be careful to not touch even with a finger the ball, because if you touch it lightly, it will be measured by the sensor and then it will be basically a fault.
Yeah.
You will run basically like this.
Yeah. Or you chop your arms off.
Exactly. So is it really helpful, all this technology? I don't know. I would like to know your opinion.
If it's in your advantage, then yes, but else.
It's true, but
I think it's like
it's not ruining the show. I don't know.
But I feel like, so maybe, actually I was looking for this. There we go. I'll share this tab instead. This is what you're talking about here, right?
Exactly.
For people that did not watch the match. Ooh, I accept proposal, the cookies. So people that were not watching, maybe I think this video will show maybe. In the VAR, so the how was VAR stands for? Virtual assisted referee or something?
Yeah.
Okay. We also see what the referee sees, right? So the idea is that there are people behind the screens, behind multiple screens, and they have all this information. And whenever it's a critical moment in the match, right? So if it's a goal or a red card or something, the people behind the screens can call the referee. So the person in charge is still the referee on the field to go to this little screen that you can see here on the right side. And then they can review this from different angles, right? And indeed, as you were mentioning, when they were reviewing the play here, there was also this graph, which I thought it was sound at first.
Probably it is.
I think it's a sensor in the ball, huh? It's not sound.
Yeah,
It's like probably like a touching thing, like a movement sensor, not
because
sound.
else if you just scream.
Exactly, yeah. And the whole stadium is probably screaming, right? So I thought it was like,
I'm not sure,
but there was basically, you see here, and for people just listening, it's basically almost like a flat line except for a peak in the middle. And then after replaying a lot of times, you can see that the peak happens exactly when the guy touches the ball with his hand. Which makes me think again, like there's a sensor movement, like a accelerometer or whatever, to sense whenever there's contact. So the idea is that the ball, like it's almost like you're at the ball, you can feel it. You feel the touch. And that happens exactly when the guy's hand is close to the ball. So it was a handball. The goal was cancelled, I guess, right? It was disallowed. And then they can carry it on, and Belgium lost. But we talked about that in the beginning. Sorry, David, but it's relevant. Anyway, so I never seen this. So my concern is not as much on the play, because I think this is just giving information. To be honest, like if I know it's the rule, but I think the rule should be a bit more flexible, right?
Should be flexible.
Because right now, if you look at this, the guy is running, right? So, and no one runs without moving their arms. The guy behind of Slovakia, you can clearly see he's throwing his body. So it's very likely that like his body kind of pushed the guy's arm, which led him to also touch the ball. Mm-hmm. The ball didn't change the course that much. It wasn't like, there wasn't a big difference, but there was a touch. For me, I think the rule should be more flexible to allow the referee to say, no, yeah, it was a handball, but it didn't really interfere. Mm-hmm. Carry on.
Exactly.
But I think it's like, I'm not against more technology, because technology just gives more information. It doesn't necessarily constrain people to say, okay, now you have to do this, now you have to do that. Right? So I think it's more, information is good, but I also think that the decisions that are taken upon that information could be dealt a bit differently. That's how I feel.
You are super wise, Murilo. I think...
Can I get enough?
Let me...
Stop. No, it's fine. No. You're smart, Vitale. Stop.
We gotta send an email to FIFA or something with the exact words you said, and maybe the recording of this video.
Indeed. But that's how I feel in general as well, in regards to like the offside and all these things. I think it's good, but I do think that the rule should be maybe sometimes a bit more. Like for this, I think it should be more flexible. For the offside, actually, I'm quite okay with.
You think so? Like, what if it's a centimeter?
I think then it's more like you just have to draw the line, because it needs to be binary, right? Either you are offside or you're not. So it's like but it's like kind of like tennis, right? Either the ball is in or it's out. And sometimes if it's 1 centimeter out, it's out.
But there the line is fixed. Here is something dynamic, because sometimes it's your shoulder, sometimes your knees, sometimes
your toes even. Like
your toes.
Was it Germany? Like the one touched the ball, it was like really his toes or something that was just offside. But they're planning on changing this rule. I think it's Wenger, like the old coach of Arsenal, who's like planning on changing this rule. That's really have to be like.
What function does he have in?
I think he's somewhere in FIFA.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
But like he's really like proposing that you are like one body width away from the other player. That's like really space between you and the last defender, then let's say, so that there's a change in this rule, because if you're like your toe or your shoulder, is it really a big difference?
Yeah.
Like Lukaku was like 1/3 of his body or something.
Yeah. I remember it was in Brazil. In Brazil, they're also very into it, and I remember it was funny. Like they always have these technologies, right? Like they freeze the play and they do a 360, and there's this 3D simulation of the players, and then they have like a invisible wall, and you go see right through, and there's like a little piece of the guy's like hair, is like just across, and then it says offside, and then even in Brazil they like zoomed in and they could see the cells of the guy, and there's like, and it's like offside, no goal. So I thought I know what you're saying.
That was my original point. Like, it's not sport anymore, I think.
No, I get it too. But I think, to me, I see your point, but I also see why the offside rule is there. I do think that if that rule wasn't there, the game would be very different. It would be more boring, I guess. But it's like, I think it's more, I'm not necessarily against it, just because I think we need to have this, we need to draw the line somewhere, right? And I know it's not perfect, but not sure.
But even, I think it was also this year in the Premier League, where it also like very hefty discussions about the VAR, because they're not always that correct. I think they had a vote this year, like Wolves specifically wanted to get rid of it. So they had all the teams vote for it, and they were the only ones who voted to remove it. So I think also like the professional players are still a fan of it, because it still is like something more fair. Like there are a lot of games. If we look at the past before we had the VAR, I think it was once England who like lost the World Cup or something, or like a big game due to something that could have been prevented with VAR. So I think, like, in all fairness, it still is a very good tool, but like the ones who are using it maybe need some more
No, I see what I think indeed. I think we're also focusing a lot on the situations in which it was wrong, but I still feel like there were way more errors before.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's still in step. So I see what you're saying, Vitale.
Indeed, maybe we should adapt the rules.
I think that's because I think, my other concern is also about the expenses, right? Because now there are chips on the ball, and I remember there was the goal line technology chip.
Yeah.
And then you had to put also like sensors around the goalposts. But then I remember it was super expensive. And like, I remember when I was a kid, I used to buy the replica of the World Cup ball, and it was already expensive. But now with the chip, it's like insanely expensive, right? And I think it's a nice idea, but then you're going to have, only the rich clubs, not even like all the first division clubs, maybe they want to invest, because it's not just about buying one ball and all these things, right? So I also think a bit of that. And I think there may be cheaper ways, like with cameras, to really have a good information on this, right? So, but you have to get going?
I have to go.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yes. Thanks for joining us, Vitale. It's always a pleasure. How do you say go Italy?
Forza Azzurri.
Forza Azzurri. Or it's against Spain tonight, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
good luck. Good luck. We'll see. We'll see how far you go. But David will stay with us here. But thanks, Vitale, for joining us today. All right. What else happened in these past days? I see here, David, that Nvidia is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
What is it about?
They recently, I think like somewhere this week, overtook Microsoft. I think they already previously overtook Apple as the biggest tech corporation in the world, let's say.
Okay.
Which I think is a pretty big deal, because I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, I don't think a lot of people outside of tech really know Nvidia.
Maybe.
Like if you compare it like Apple and Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's way less known, but still they're the biggest tech corporation out there.
Yeah. I think it's like they win because they're leading the GPU game.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And I think indeed it's not as user facing as an Apple or a Microsoft or anything, but yeah, like if you think of the models and all the things that we need to do, it's like, you look at the compute and you think that
sure.
Nvidia, Nvidia has been there for quite a lot of time, like on the leading the GPU market and the developments and all these things. So it does make sense, especially now with the LLMs world, where compute is getting more and more and more valuable, right? So
yeah, like specifically, I saw the comparison because this is all in their stock evaluation. But like when ChatGPT released, like October, November 2022 or something.
Yeah.
Since then, their stock has risen like 1,100%. So
Really?
yeah, you really see it like skyrocketing since that release. Of course, there's a big part to play in that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I can imagine. And I think we talked a bit about this a while ago, that there's still a company that produces chips, I think in Thailand or something, and they were also like, they produce all of them, not just from Nvidia, but like
AMD, Intel.
Yeah, but I remember it was crazy too that their profits are also skyrocketing, right, with all these things, which is like
the AI fever.
Yeah, exactly, right. The LLM fever, I would say, even, right?
Probably.
But yeah, have you bought already your shares of?
No. Sadly. If I knew beforehand, maybe.
But are you surprised? Did you not know? Like, were you like, whoa, who could have seen this coming? Or were you like, yeah, okay.
Probably know it, but you have to act upon it before it really starts to go this far. So yeah, I didn't do that. Sadly.
Yeah, I mean, neither, but I see what. Okay, yeah, very cool. Good thing for Nvidia. Let's see. And actually, so you mentioned like Nvidia had already overtaken Apple, and now they overtake Microsoft, and now they're the MVC, the most valuable company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there another player on that space, do you think?
Yeah, I saw as well that like Intel, AMD, like other like big chip producers are starting to act upon it, and also basically just going to copy what they're doing and selling it cheaper, because Nvidia is selling this at a very big profit margin.
Yeah.
Because like now they're the only ones really have this, like these AI chips and so on. But I saw that Intel is like basically going to do what they're doing, but really gonna sell it for less, way less, to like compete with them.
So they're basically they're trying to gain market, but just making their prices lower.
Yeah,
at least in the beginning.
Yeah, and then of course like other companies are trying to see, maybe they're not as good as what Nvidia has, but if they're selling this so much cheaper, a lot of them are just going to try that out as well.
Yeah, and I do think there are other. I mean, usually we talk about GPUs, right? Mm-hmm. But there are other chips specialized for AI. I mean, even like Google has if you go on Google Colab notebooks, I think Google Colab, I think is the name. You can also have the TPUs, right? Yeah. I think Microsoft also is releasing their own thing with like AI specific chips. I know Apple has a specific chip as well, with the Apple Intelligence thing. There's a lot of stuff going there, right? But I still think that I'm not super. I don't know enough technically to make comments here, but I imagine that Nvidia has like years and years and years of experience on this.
Yeah, of course, it's like their biggest selling product, I guess.
Indeed.
But yeah, I mean, AMD and Intel are for sure going to act upon this.
Indeed.
They don't have to reinvent the wheel; they just have to do a bit what they are doing.
Yeah,
and then
True. Yeah, let's see if it's gonna be like this, or we have other players popping up as well.
Could be.
And what else? Databricks also had the AI summit. I'm not gonna touch too much on this because the expert unfortunately had to leave. But one of the things that I've seen, and also I saw this passing on our Slack channels, that they are open sourcing Unity catalog. Right?
Apparently.
Let's see here. Actually, on the... Apparently, it was very dramatic. I was watching a video. So they actually open sourced it live. They like, the guy who was walking on stage, he went on his laptop, he shared the screen, and then he went on the settings and like make this repo public, and then it was ready. So Unity catalog, I think is like, I think the idea is that it's a catalog for data models. It's kind of like all in one kind of thing, right? And I think this follows you see here some more nice images here, how it's like your intermediate layer between the platforms and services with the actual underlying data and all these things, right? So it helps you organize and catalog everything. Databricks is also known to open source quite a lot of stuff, right? Spark is open source. They also did a lot of models. They do quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting from this whole ordeal Oh, by the way, this is Unity catalog here. Most of it is Java, which was surprising.
Nice.
But I could not let this pass by unnoticed. They also have
The rest.
catalog RS. So they also have something in Rust.
Yes,
So
apparently. Everybody's doing it.
otherwise, you're not cool if you don't do Rust. But why I thought it was interesting, I also saw that Polaris, which is let's say a competitor of Unity Catalog, they also, so this is from Snowflake DB, they also open sourced it, and I'm with some air quotes here, right? Because if you look at the actual repo, this was open source 2 weeks ago, but there's nothing. There's nothing there. So you see here that like Polaris Catalog will be open sourced and Apache 2.0 license in the next 90 days, right? So in the meantime, watch his repo, blah, 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 and follow the announcement blog post. So there's also more information here. But I thought it was a very curious.
They weren't ready for
Yeah.
since Databricks was like, let's go.
Yeah,
And they're like,
just put it there.
we don't want to do that.
It's super strange, right? Like, it feels like one of those AI moves, you know?
It feels also very forced now. Databricks was probably like, okay, we're gonna do this, and Snowflake was,
Yeah, it's like
I
it's
don't want to do that actually.
It's super strange. It feels like those half-baked AI products, you
Yeah.
know, that people ship, and then they try to work on it after it's been shipped. So it's like, yeah, we had open sourced it, but did we really, you know? This is a bit the blog post, right, about Polaris, right? So there is a bit more information here on how it works and how you can write stuff. I'm not super into this world, let's say, but I have heard chatter that now apparently it's going to be Unity Catalog and Delta Lake. So Delta Lake is the table format underneath versus Polaris and Iceberg.
Yeah.
Maybe are you into this?
Followed a bit, but not like really in depth like our previous host did.
Yeah. Maybe I want to also share this real quick. This is a bit of the announcement video. So they also kind of took a jab because they announced this. Databricks announced that they're going to open source. And I think then Snowflake open sourced it with the empty repo. And then on the keynote from Databricks, they actually had, is this for real? Maybe 90 days, right? So they actually very not that subtly called them out, right? Yeah. And this is a video in which, the guy kind of just walks to his laptop very casually. And he really just kind of open sourced this live, right? So it's pretty cool. You see here. Do you want to make this repo public? Yes, I want to make this public. I understand the effects. So I'm not as in the game as I mentioned, but one thing that is interesting for me is Snowflake and the Iceberg tables, Iceberg format. This is also something that came up from a colleague that they shared from a LinkedIn post that Iceberg feels like an unstoppable train that is going to make data stacks even more fun. I had to try DBT dynamically running models on different SQL engines. All in all, what he's saying is that if you look at this image, it's a good starting point. Mm-hmm. You have DBT, and again, we talked about DBT a few times. Basically, you orchestrate some queries to transform your data, kind of bring software engineering best practices to data analytics, all these things. You have Snowflake, which, as we mentioned, is like a warehouse. It's a query engine. And then you also can have DuckDB, which is like in memory, right? So it's like optimized for one node. And the idea is that they're both can actually read and write. Well, Snowflake can read and write. And DuckDB can read to Iceberg. Yeah. Why is this interesting in my case? Is because I have encountered a need as we were moving towards Snowflake. Yeah. A lot of the data was still on S3, on blob storage. Yeah. And one way we could bypass having to migrate everything to Snowflake first is to say, let's make whatever's available on S3 as an external table in Snowflake. For people that are not as much understanding what I'm trying to say here. So Snowflake has storage, has compute, right? It's optimized to run queries. So the compute to run on top of the data that is on Snowflake. Yeah. But Snowflake also makes it possible for you to run queries, so use the compute with storage that is not in Snowflake, right? That's what the concept of external tables on Snowflake is. And the tables that we had, the data that we had was in Parquet format, which is a file format, and apparently was much, much, much slower. So we had like this quick fix of saying, okay, the data is not on Snowflake yet, but let's just make the data that is on S3 available in Snowflake. Yeah. And just query it like that way, And then whenever data does become available on Snowflake, we'll just have faster queries, but it's the same thing for the people that are actually using Snowflake.
Yeah.
But the performance was really bad, and apparently there was some investigations to use Iceberg instead of Parquet. And they said that the performance is almost the same as native tables. Yeah, pretty cool, right?
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that is cool is because for us, the idea is to use Snowflake as a data source for machine learning models.
Yeah.
So the first step is to specify what kind of data you want from Snowflake, let's say. But even if the data is not all available in Snowflake, let's say that for some reason, some data is not going to go there, it's going to stay on S3, we can still blend that data and like run queries that will join data from S3 and Snowflake because everything is accessible via the Snowflake query engine. And because Iceberg has very little, Ben, I think we still need to dive deeper as a team, right? But it looks like there's very little performance degradation compared to native tables. It seems like a very, very, very good way, very, flexible to move forward, right? And the other thing too is that in this project, this trial run that Borja, I don't know how to pronounce his name, is also saying is that the idea is that you can have Snowflake for the large queries, let's say, but you can also have DuckDB on that same data or a subset of data, right? Because again, so if you have something that is small, you can just run DuckDB. You don't need to use the whole compute of Snowflake and all the things and pay more potentially. You can just use DuckDB there. So I thought it was actually, I think even here, he's actually testing with dbt, but he's actually running stuff with Snowflake.
Yeah, so you just use like Snowflake then for their query optimization and so on, and then use DuckDB or some other maybe that supports the Iceberg just for their regular, for test you don't really need query optimization from Snowflake, you can just use DuckDB in this case, which is really nice that they didn't both support it, but I think there are a lot of others who also support it, right?
Yeah. So I think I saw also, I don't think I put it here, but I also saw that there was a comment on how much is Iceberg has been adopted by the big query engines like BigQuery and all these things, but it's still work in progress. But it looks cool. So again, I'm not an expert on these things, but it has come into my life.
Yeah, I saw a lot of it as well. That they was it like not released in open source as well, or
Iceberg or what?
Yeah,
I think it is. I think this is Apache, like it's Apache thing. So I think it's there. We can have a look.
So don't have to use the expensive query engines all the time. Huh?
Indeed. So yeah, there you go. So if you go here, share this table instead. See, it's here. It's open source.
I see.
Written in Java as well. It's not Rust. But this is cool. So, and also for the people that are interested in this POC that I just showed on LinkedIn, this is the link. So you kind of see a bit the setup. So dbt Iceberg POC. So it's a bit the working code, so you can actually try it for yourself. I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
And I hope it delivers its promises as well.
Yeah, really something to look into, huh?
Indeed. So I was really happy. Well, I'll come back once we have done the whole exercise and see if it really delivers.
It always looks nice, but
it does look nice, right? It does look nice, like finally, What else? What else we have from GitHub? Maybe because you know what Bart usually says. If he was here, he would definitely say that a library week keeps the mind at peak. We don't have any sound bites for that, but yet.
Next podcast.
Yeah. So for this week, this came across again on our Slack channels, the BM25S, ultra-fast implementation of BM25 in pure Python, powered by SciPy sparse matrices. Does any of this means anything to you?
No. Somebody see this, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think they do a very good job in the names, even the description. Huh? Welcome to BM25S, a Python package, BM5 algorithm ranking documents based on a query. Okay. Text retrieval tasks, core component of search services like Elasticsearch. So, all in all, TLDR, as I understand it, is that, you know what TF-IDF is?
TF-IF?
TF-IDF. I think that's a no. Yeah. It stands for the term frequency inverse document frequency, but basically it's I came across it in the context of machine learning. So maybe I actually put here TF-IDF. TF-IDF here. I came with it in the context of machine learning. The idea is if you have sentences and this is like NLP, natural language processing, way before LLMs, right? But the idea is that you have sentences, and the way that you can come up from a sentence to numbers is to kind of classify words. So if a word happens, how often does this word appear? Yeah. Right? So that's where the term frequency comes in, right? And then inverse document frequency is basically how much this word appears in this sentence compared to all the other documents that you're all the other sentences that you're possibly looking at. So for example, words that like stop words, like and, but, they appear a lot on the sentence you're looking at, but they're also going to appear a lot in all the other sentences, right? So it kind of balances it out. So actually like the TF-IDF is actually like a ratio. So it's like the term frequency divided by
Okay.
And I think this is actually good enough a lot of the times for example, if I give you a document and it's a legal document, this is probably enough as a machine learning information, right? Yeah. Because the jargon that's going to appear there is probably going to be very specific. Yeah. But if I tell you a story and I say, what's the main character of this story? This is probably not good enough, right? So in one, you're just kind of taking a helicopter view and classifying documents. And the other one, you actually need to understand what's written there. So for some use cases, this is probably enough. For other use cases, this is not. And now going back to the BMS25, it's something kind of analogous to that. I think it's a different type of algorithm. It's not TF-IDF, but it's also to kind of tokenize words. So if from sentences here, there's a little examples here from sentences. You can say you can tokenize these things, see what kind of stop words you have. So you can also remove them, and you can basically do this very, very fast. So it's a new implementation. This is not machine learning at all. It's just like scientific Python libraries.
It just speeds up.
Yeah, but apparently it's like a lot more. So even like BM25S is much faster than the stuff from Elasticsearch. So, but I also think this is optimized for one machine, right? But there's probably always going to be a ceiling, right? If you have too much data, it doesn't matter. Like so a bit of that. But I'm always excited to see.
You haven't used it?
No, I have not used this. But sometimes you feel the pressure to bring a package a day, a week, So I was like, I'll bring this one. And also they have a way to load these things to Hugging Face. Easily. So so you have Hugging Face, hub token, and then you can very easily push it there. So I thought it was cool. I also think it's cool that not everything, this is just Python, huh? It's just Python. It's just using the scientific libraries and stuff. So thought I would share.
For sure.
And I think this is it, no? Do you have anything else? No. I think this is it.
This is it indeed.
All right. Cool.
Very nice podcast.
Yeah. Because you're here.
Yeah, of course.
I think this is the best episode ever, actually. Any plans for the weekend, actually?
For the weekend?
Yeah. Or for the following days?
The Euros.
Just Euros?
Yes,
just
Euros.
Okay.
Yes.
What is the Belgium's next match?
Saturday. 9 against Ukraine. If you lose that, then I won't watch anymore.
Well, if you lose that one, then they cannot pass, right? They're not gonna...
If you lose that, then it's probably gonna be over, yeah.
Yeah, because you have like four teams per group.
Yeah.
So you play 3 matches?
Yeah.
So if you lose 2 of the 3?
Yeah.
Probably not gonna...
out.
So you lose 2...
Unless if you win the last one and then maybe progress in the best thirds, but then you have to rely on the other ones.
Yeah, it's a bit if...
Yeah, we should win.
Actually, I think I even saw here, there was a food for thought moment. It was like, Argentina lost their first group stage game.
Yes.
They became... Did you put that?
Yeah. Just to give myself some hope.
Yeah. So Argentina lost their first group stage game and they became world champion in the last World Cup. Belgium loses their first group stage game, right? They're going to become European champion. Hey. But I feel like... I don't believe in coincidence. It's all about the data. The patterns are clearly there. Let's see. But I still feel like the Belgium's team, it was better a few years ago. Huh?
Yeah, for sure.
The peak of Belgium talent, it was a few years ago, no?
Yeah, we lost Hazard now. It's really sad.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think we do have a good youth coming up. But they still...
some of them are data engineers at Databricks.
Part-time and then football.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but I think we have a good youth coming up. They still need some experience more than. But
who's the rising Belgium star?
I would say Doku probably. Doku is really up there.
Yeah, I think
first season for Man City was already very good.
How old is he?
22 or something. Not really sure exactly, but very young.
Okay. Yeah, Brazil also has some rising stars. Rodrigo, Vinicius.
Vinicius, yes.
Yeah, I think I'd say they're rising stars.
Are you a fan of Vinicius or?
I think so. Yeah,
he gets a lot of hate. Huh?
He does, but I think it's like it's normal. In Brazil, we say that they are marrento, which is like how can I describe it? It's like a bit cocky, a bit like he's not trying to be friends. He's not trying to be agreeable. No. He's like it's a bit like
it's really like he has a personality. Let's say.
Yeah. But I think he's like different from other Brazilian, like Neymar. He was also like that, but I still feel like Vinicius is. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Let's leave it at that.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. They're different. They're different people. But yeah. Let's see. Actually, fun fact to wrap up the episode.
Yes.
I was in the World Cup of 2018. I went to Russia. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. I was there. I applied. I was living in the US. I applied for the lottery tickets. I said, okay, if I'm gonna apply, I'm gonna apply for like 3 matches already. Right? I'm not gonna go there for 1 match. So I applied for 3. My friend applied for 1. I got all 3. He didn't get his. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna go. So I went. I watched the last game of the group stage and already the first 2 of the knockout. Last 2 of the group stage and the first 1 of the knockout.
Only Brazilian games, you mean, or?
Huh?
You watch only the Brazilian games then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like in FIFA, they have different packages. You can have a follow your country. So if they win, you just redeem the ticket. So you already pay. But if they lose, you get your money back.
Oh.
So that's kind of what I did. But I was pretty confident Brazil was going to get through past the group stage. But so I watched the last 2 of the group stage and the first of the knockout. And it was against Mexico. Yeah. And then we beat Mexico and I was so pumped. And I was like, I'm going to watch the next one. I don't care. I had already flights because I was going to come to Europe actually. Yeah. So I was in the US. I went to Russia and I was going to do some backpacking in Europe. Yeah. I purposely missed that flight because I wanted to watch the next match, which was against Belgium. I didn't have a ticket. I bought it from someone. I took like a 18-hour bus because it was like very far from Moscow. I slept there. I didn't have a hostel. I just went there. I was like, I'm just going to go watch the game, come back. I got to the city. It was Kazan. I ran into a guy that I bumped into in the matches before. Mm-hmm. So I said, he didn't speak English. So I was like, okay, I'll help you. I went to his hostel. I took a shower there because I was 18 hours on a bus. Yeah. I just walked around, ate. I went to the match. We lost. I was super depressed. I was like,
I was very happy.
Yeah, super. And it was such a small town that the buses would stop after a while. And the train station would so I had a train coming back because FIFA, they have the FIFA trains. And then I had to someone need to give me a ride, a Russian guy that he was going to a party. And then he said I'll take you to the station, but I'm going there now. And I was like, okay, let's go. It was such a mess. And then I just got to it was a party. I didn't want to party, we just lost. I was just like, man, I don't want to watch anything. F this, F that. I don't want to be here. Yeah, and then I still got there. I got the train at 5 a.m. It was like a 10-hour train as well. I got back. It was very sad. And then I moved to Belgium to study. So it was very
better country.
Yeah, for the first, I was like, "Oh, where are you from?" From Brazil. I was like, "Oh, Brazil." Yeah. I get it.
Leave it.
Yeah. So still a bit salty, as you can tell, but it's fine. Now I'm here.
It's nice.
David, thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Nice. Let's see. Go Belgium. How do you say go Belgium in...
Hup Belgium? I don't know how we say it. We said go Belgium.
Go Belgium.
Belgium, yeah. Go Belgium.
Okay, maybe just stop. Okay, thanks, yo.
You have taste in a way that's meaningful to software people.
Hello, I'm Bill Gates.
I would recommend TypeScript. Yeah, it writes a lot of code for me, and usually it's slightly wrong.
I'm reminded, incidentally, of Rust here.
Rust.
This almost makes me happy that I didn't become a supermodel.
Cooper and Netties.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today about large neural networks. It's really an honor to be here.
Rust.
DataTopics.
Welcome to the
DataTopics podcast.